Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine and studying regularly at home. So, children, in the previous video of this chapter, we had a closer look of Bengal, right? In today's segment, we are going to study about pirs and temples. From the 16th century, people began to migrate in large numbers from the less fertile western Bengal to the forested and marshy areas of southeastern Bengal. As they moved eastwards, they cleared forests and brought the land under rice cultivation. Gradually, local communities of fisher folk and shifting cultivators, often tribals, merged with the new communities of peasants. At the same time, Mughals were establishing control over Bengal with their capital in the heart of the eastern delta at Dhaka. Officials and functionaries received land and often set up mosques that served as centers for religious transformation in these areas. The early settlers sought some order and assurance in the unstable conditions of the new settlements. Now the question arises, who provided this assurance? These were provided by community leaders who also functioned as teachers and judges, and sometimes they said they had supernatural powers. People referred to them with affection and respect as peers. This term is vast as it included saints or Sufis and other religious personalities, daring colonizers, and the soldiers who were regarded as God, various Hindu and Buddhist deities, and even animistic spirits. Now, you all must be thinking, what is animistic? It is a feature of living soul to plants, inanimate objects, and natural phenomena. The group of peers became very popular and their people can be found everywhere in Bengal. Bengal also witnessed a temple building in a short period of time from the late 15th century, which reached its final result in the 19th century. Temples and other religious structures were often built by individuals or groups who were becoming powerful. Now the question arises, why did they do so? First reason is to demonstrate their power, and second is to proclaim their quality of being religious. Many of the modest brick and terracotta temples in Bengal were built with the support of several low social groups such as the Kolu and the Kansari. Kolu are oil pressers, while Kansari are bell metal workers. The coming of the European trading companies created new economic opportunities. Many families belonging to these social groups availed of these as their social and economic position improved. They proclaimed their status through the construction of temples. When local deities once worshipped in thatched huts in villages gained the recognition of the Brahmins, their images began to be housed in temples. Thatched huts are those whose roof is made up of dry grass. The temples began to copy the double roofed or four roofed structure of the thatched huts. Double roofed structure is Dokala, while four roofed structure is Chokala. This led to the evolution of the typical Bengali style in temple architecture. In the comparatively more complex four roofed structure, four triangular roofs placed on the four walls move up to converge on a curved line or a point. Temples were usually built on a square platform. The interior was relatively plain, but the outer walls of many temples were decorated with paintings, ornamental tiles, or terracotta tablets. In some temples, particularly in Vishnupur, in the Bankura district of West Bengal, such decorations reached a high degree of intelligence. Now, children, let us move to the next topic, which is called fish as food. Traditional food habits are generally based on locally available food items. As we know, Bengal is a riverine plain, so it produces plenty of rice and fish. Thus, these food items are dominant even in the menu of poor Bengalis. Fish has always been an important occupation, and Bengali literature contains several references to fish. Furthermore, terracotta plaques on the walls of temples and viharas depict scenes of fish being dressed and taken to the market in baskets. Brahmins were not allowed to eat non vegetarian food, but the popularity of fish in the local diet made the Brahminical authorities relax this prohibition for the Bengal. Brahmins, the Brihad Dharma Purana, which is a 13th century Sanskrit text from Bengal, permitted the local Brahmins to eat certain varieties of fish.